Peace, 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 peace. How y'all doing today? It's Star, it's Star. Hey y'all, this is Star with the Star Blooms. Okay, I'm not gonna be that long today. I just wanted to share really quickly. I'm gonna move this out the way. I don't want everything showing up. I'm gonna move over. Oh my god, I was just cleaning up. So, anyways, y'all. All right. I don't know why I'm so excited. I just got excited. I like sharing. I like being myself, and I like showing up as myself. I'll say that better. What I wanted to talk to y'all about was the teacher that shows up in the stance when your desire meets your heart posture. Okay, I had to be slow with that because a lot of times things be coming to us because they want to be felt. You know, um, today is a 699 day, y'all. Okay. Usually I would be like a 24/6 or, a 15/6 type of thing. But for some reason, I was guided to sit in the 699, which is 6/18, 2025. 6 is 6, 8 plus 1 equals 9, 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 5 equals 9 as well. It's something magical in that space, y'all. And the reason why it is because um, at certain rates, when we find and we meet in ourselves, we really don't know what's happening and going on. And on days like today, um, extremely like feminine energy, it requires us to take like a dose and a note within to actually receive and perceive guidance that allows us to have like the right stance in our posture. And it's like how you're standing on something. So somebody might not understand what I mean. The teacher that, basically comes out in your stance when your desire meets your heart posture. So the stance is going to be basically your way of being. It's like your way of operation. It's your how, and maybe even sometimes like a little bit of your why. Um, there's memory that unfolds in that space, and your stance is like, this is what I know to be protective, this is what I know to be true, so this is how I'm going to operate, this is what I'm going to instill within myself even at a certain rate, right? It's beauty in that space. Your heart posture, I'm sorry to say y'all, my apologies, I don't mean to keep on saying I'm just in my space, so y'all work with me. um Oh, sheesh. Alrighty. I'm gonna get it together, spirit. My spirit team we get. Sometimes you gotta laugh at yourself, okay? So, okay, okay. I wanted to say again. ah. Oh, oh, please forgive me. I'm focus. All right. So a lot of times with I'm so silly. The heart posture, y'all. Your heart posture is basically it's your internal prayer. You know, it's the way that your heart requires to be open for you to be able to have the right guides and actual like it's the pathway that you're moving in, but it's like a rate that you're being in this path. The heart posture is the stance at the same time, but it is really the teacher. And the reason why it's the teacher, I'll give y'all an example. Say that you've been in a circumstance where you feel like you may have been betrayed. Um, a lot of times we would like to go out of our way to try to fix and correct the betrayal with revenge, sometimes with, being able to be at a rate where we're trying to convince people, where we're trying to force a circumstance, where we're trying to be something in a circumstance, where we're trying to convince ourselves in a certain rate. it's very unfortunate because a lot of times what you don't get in that space is the truth. The truth is your ability to maintain your way and your desire to move through things at a certain rate is what creates that reality. But if you don't have or you don't give yourself the opportunity in your stance, in your way of being empathetic towards you and your experience, in your way of being nurturing towards you and your experience, you aren't really able to see it. In this day, 699, it is literally a layer of completion of the way that things have been if you allow yourself to perceive it at a certain rate. And the reason is I consider the six, y'all, to be the visionary. It's so powerful because in the six you have this opportunity to meet things on a grander scale that doesn't just affect you, and it gives you wings, but it has to be handled gently. And the reason why it has to be handled gently, you could see the six as like the pregnant mother. You wouldn't really go out of your way to force a pregnant mom to be or to do or to carry on certain things. You're gonna want to nurture that space, and it's birthing something that is extremely powerful. However, this thing is unknown. It's not really something that you could really see. There's it's like I just lost my train of thought, y'all. There's a certain rate in which you get to understand and perceive that something is happening. However, because it isn't ripened yet, that's what I was wanting to say. It isn't ripened yet. It hasn't actually, grown completely to its fullness. It's something that you really, really need to take and be in step with. And that's why today is so powerful. If you just added the numbers up, how you would add them up, you would get 24, which is a 2, 4, break it down or add it to make it a single digit, which makes it a six. The thing about that makes it so beautiful is that it's a bunch of internal, negative charges meeting and reaching to greet you in a space that gets you yet another negative charge. What do I mean by negative charge? Negative is going to be feminine, it's an internal energy. Positive charge is going to be masculine, it's an external energy. You could look at even numbers as negative, energy. They're internal. They're dealing with you on an internal rate. And when you have, you know, numbers like 2, 4 to get 6, this is all feminine energy. This is something that's happening to you on the inside. A lot of people aren't even aware of how many people have woken up. People just got up this morning, they just went on their day. Stuff might have felt a little bit different, but hey, today's a day, and a lot of people sitting in gratitude. That's beautiful and it's great. But at this point where we're at, we're actually in this space and an opportunity where we get to utilize and use our power in the way that benefits us, like at the highest vibrational frequency, that allows us the ability to be able to, like I said, nurture that thing, that vision, that space that allows us to be and do things that we may have not necessarily wanted to do before. Why? The 2, like I said, is intuitive. The 4 is going to be about your structure, your work. And then the 6 is about the expansion of that space. It's not just, I think I should do this because of this. It's looking ahead. If you're anybody who's ever had a kid or you've ever been pregnant before, you understand that you can't be in certain layers of your pregnancy and not reaching to gain awareness of what will come in the future, what is necessary to be in the future. But one thing I will tell y'all is that once you glance into the future, if you do so choose, you have the ability to observe. And anything, once we, actually place our eyes on it, anytime we do that, it shifts and it changes because it's always meant to do that. It's always meant to take that rate and be in that space. So just with your observation, you have the opportunity to shift and alter your experience. What I'm basically talking about is the teacher that comes to actually show up in the stance once your desire meets your heart posture. You may, as a pregnant person, decide, okay, this is what I'm doing, this is what my desire is. However, you may still have fear. I had previously had, miscarriages. So if I was in a situation like that and I had this desire to see through to the end of a pregnancy, there could be a possibility of me wanting to not be in the right heart space because I experienced so many things before, because I experienced this thing before. I may have a certain heart space with myself. It's an opportunity for you to be able to actually shift and be at the rate of the lessons that you require so you can actually have what it is that you're desiring. And it's a great teacher, but it's also a great student. And a lot of times we don't allow ourselves to be able to be in what is called practice discernment. And what that does is it takes on accountability and also it takes responsibility. One is accountability of self. Responsibility is being mindful of what it is that you're in consumption of and being mindful of where it is that you're being lied. I don't know why I said lied. Where it is that you're being led to and who it is that you're following. A lot of times, because we don't want to actually be at the rate with ourselves and we're not willing to actually see all of the things that are happening in our working world and in the world that we're creating, because you're creating a world whether you know it or not. All right. If we don't allow ourselves to be the ones who are actually contributing to the shifts that we're desiring, a lot of times we'll get ourselves in alignment with things that we feel like has a better authority to be able to guide and move us. I will tell you this, no matter how many guides you receive, no matter how many people you are inspired by, no matter how many inspired actions you could take based off of how you are able to grow in this space, you being able to be connected with yourself in a rate to where you have the ability to discern, to see over, to have a perception to where you can actually make the best decision for your highest good. It's always going to be best. And it's necessary at this time because we're being called to operate in our power. A lot of things are going to start happening for us in the best way. And if you don't have the ability to actually see how it is that you may have shown up like a fool before, a lot of us have taken on that fool mentality. It's not really a bad energy. It's very naive. It's not, excuse me, y'all. It's not necessarily always safe because it could put you in a predicament. And if you've shown up in a practice habit of not necessarily considering yourself and you're learning how to do these things. A lot of y'all have made some new decisions, y'all have made some new actions, y'all have taken some new steps. When you take these new steps, how do you keep this step? Spirit is asking us, propelling us to use our power, to be at a rate where we start to call in the things that we desire, and we also start to cast out the things that we desire not to be. And the reason is because this is not people. This is energies. Is it's like sometimes it just be spirit. You know what I'm saying? And here's why. A lot of times when you begin to heal and you recognize in your healing that the things that you are healing towards aren't healing with you, there's a realignment that you could make. And in your heart posture, you could basically stay at a rate where you don't hold anything, where you're not, I don't have any grudges towards this circumstance because it was meant to teach me what I needed to learn. I don't have any hangups in this connection because it came as a propel for me to actually get to the next rate. Some of y'all are in a position to where you're meeting your next, big break, where you're meeting your next threshold, where you're actually going to be able to go through and get to that space and that rate that you was desiring. You've been calling it in for a long time. However, in your wait, you decided to start picking up things that doesn't allow you to feed your faith, that doesn't allow you to keep belief in what it is that you've spoken over yourself that you knew to be true. And what I'll tell you is in this space, you will learn that your intuition has actually grown roots. The two is about being able to see what this seed that you have is actually meant for. The four is actually, let's place some stability in this seed that you have. The six is, this is how it's going to affect, and this is how it's going to be able to do. This is what it's going to be. And there's a vision with this six. But when you actually have your intuition growing roots in something and there's stability there, when you're casting out, your vision and what it is that you're going towards, and you know that you're birthing something new, there are some actions that you're taking that are specifically set for you. And A lot of stuff nowadays are wanting to keep us at a rate where we're relinquishing things and giving it over to other people. They don't want us to be at a rate where we're using and we're being in ourselves in creation, because we're supposed to be the creator to do the things that we're wanting to actually see happen in our world. And if we're at a rate where we want to constantly sit back and wait for things to be decided for us, wait for opportunities to be given, wait for people to clap for you, wait, there's this idea of wait, 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 wait. It's not wait. Yes, take your time. It's so necessary to take your time and to know, even in taking your time, that time doesn't exist and anything could change within a moment. So if you're at a rate where you're allowing yourself to be at this position in your heart, in my being, I allow myself to face every experience with the highest intention, with the highest desire for the best outcome for me always. In my desire of connecting with people, I have this desire to see people at a rate where I see them, and I'm not calling them to be something that, isn't in alignment with them, and I'm not forcing myself to be something that I'm not. I'm in an allotment of authenticity where I can meet love with love, meet hate with love, because I am what I say I am, and I'll be that. If you're at a rate where you aren't convinced of the thing that you've been speaking over yourself, where you decided to cut the roots off of your intuition because you felt like something was moving, you get to be in this place of practice discernment, is where you allow your feelings and your emotions to not necessarily be regulating you, but to actually have some, I don't want to say sense made because it's very derogatory, but I want to say be able to have like a cohesive measure that allows you to be in this space, that allows you to be in this space, to be able to get exactly what you needed from this space. And it's something that you need from it always. I promise y'all. If you have any experiences that are coming up to you right now that are giving you like a nudge to kind of try something that you may have tried before, allow yourself to be at a rate where you see this thing, don't necessarily know exactly what the outcome can be. And like I said, regardless, you never really know what the outcome can be. Everything could always change. That's why we get to release worry. That's why we get to release fear, because a lot of things that we're fearing are potential possibilities. And when you know that you're an infinite being, there's so many infinite possibilities that you can always have another opportunity, another chance. You just have to get beyond the space where you become stagnant at whatever rate you're moving at, so you could be able to be in it. Why? Because your heart's desire. Literally, in just about all contexts that I've had, all layers of communication that I've had with my spirit team, with me, in general, with people who I've deemed to be successful, reading and just different stuff like that, connecting in spirit, there is a rate where you get to know and understand that you get to have. You get to have. And a lot of times we don't allow ourselves to be open to receive, because in our heart posture and our experiences and the things that we've went through on our path and how we've moved through things, we start to close up. We start to not trust, and we don't want to get at the rate where we allow. And it becomes very, very, it's very disheartening. It's very sad, but you don't have to be sad. You get to be at a rate where you get to go back even through yourself and just say, I knew this and I understood this, because when I went and I tested, you got to test stuff in the spirit, y'all. Be willing. That 4 comes in as a test. Why? Anything that you're going to put a foundation on, that you're going to sit something on, you're going to make sure that thing balanced. You're going to make sure ain't no wobbly legs. You're going to make sure it's a good firm structure. You're going to make sure that it has the ability to hold what it is that you placing on it, you placing in it. You're going to know why you need to have good stability with it, because the 2 comes to tell you what you need to know. And then when you get to that 6, you have a rate of something that is being birthed. And like I said, when you get to this part, be at a rate where you allow yourself to see what it is that's being nurtured in this space, that you're actually moving forward with, that you're protecting. I was about to say protecting, that you're protecting, because what you get to have, you get to protect it. Nobody could take it from you. Now, there's a reality of it that a lot of us don't want to actually release the things that we were supposed to release when we got to the space of knowing that there was a new space that we were supposed to be in. And that becomes the thing that creates the shift. But even in that space, a lot of times when you're dealing with things, places, people that want you to basically be stuck and they want you to wait, they want to trap you, they want to, a lot of these times it's like you relinquishing your power and you not wanting to use what it is that you know you have the ability to use. We have so much stuff that is at our disposal for us to be able to operate and live in. And when you're living in all that you are, when you're taking your power back and you're experiencing the fullness of who it is that you're being, you get to be at a rate where a lot of stuff doesn't have the opportunity to even touch you, yet alone keep you from what it is that you're moving forward towards. So a lot of y'all just give yourself permission to speak to the things that you consider to be mountains, to allow things to be moved out the way because they are being moved. You have a spiritual team, whether you acknowledge them or not. You have ancestors who are here helping and guiding you, whether you acknowledge them or not. You have guardians that are here helping you and guiding you, whether you acknowledge them or not. You do have to give them the permission to be able to move on your behalf. And I encourage y'all to do so. And even if you don't know how to do it, I feel like you should just be willing enough to sit within yourself and start practicing discernment by testing the spirit. Spirit, I would like you, if this is what I'm meant to do, I would like you to give me a sign. You know, and sometimes you could get to a point to where you get specific. I want to see the color red. I want to see this. I want to see these numbers. I want to see this type of animal. Whatever it is, you know, and don't doubt it. When you see your proof, don't doubt it and stop doubting yourself. Stop pushing away what it is that you know. Stop forcing away what it is that you've decided for yourself and allow what is actually being cultivated within you to grow the legs and the feet and the face and all the features that it needs to grow. Because a lot of y'all are birthing entire worlds and you don't even have a clue. You have no clue how much you are affecting the space that you're in because you've convinced yourself that you're the small thing, the insignificant thing that always get looked over. You're not going to have a chance because you done failed so many times. You know the beautiful thing about failure? It teaches you to not stop. When you keep, I promise you, when you keep on messing up something, it teaches you in every way. One, how you messed up, friend. Hi, this is what you did wrong. This is what you did. This is not even wrong. This is what you were in awareness. Like I was ignorant in this space. I didn't really have any understanding here. So when I go at this, I'm going to do this a different way. So be at a rate with yourself where you're allowing yourself to actually become your own guiding light. You get to speak to whatever it is that you consider to be an obstacle and allow it to do what it needs to do. And then be healed in this space. Y'all take only what is in alignment with you when I'm speaking. Don't just take everything that I say full face value. Everything will not apply. I'm not speaking to everybody. Everybody doesn't have the desire to be at this rate with themselves. That's why you have to do practice discernment. If it's anything that triggers you in anything that I'm saying, a lot of times it's because maybe you weren't supposed to hear it, or you're in a position to where you get to have expansion because you're going to take it and you're going to deal with yourself and your roots for you to be able to see what it is that you required out of that space. And sometimes it just be the trigger. So once you get the trigger, just go on and be triggered and heal. You know, and if you don't want to heal, don't heal. And don't say nothing to me about the fact that you don't want to heal. All right. And it's not harping on anything. It's just that at the rate that we're at, we get to start speaking over ourselves and being ourselves, being authentic, knowing that what it is that we're doing is what's necessary, not having to be open. Like people could send monitoring spirits and all of that stuff, but you do not have to be open. You get to actually affirm over you and over your space. You get to speak over you and over your environment. You get to have covered protection. You get to be loved. You get to actually live and exist in the space that you created for yourself. Why? Because my heart posture has actually been in my stance and it's in my walk. And in my heart posture, I've now been at a rate where in this space, my desires now meet me because I'm literally creating and operating in a space where they are substantiated. Like if you say that you want to have good credit, but then you don't actually pay your credit card bills or you're not really contributing to making sure that your credit is better, you're going to have bad credit with the desire to have good credit. It be logical, but sometimes it's not just logic. It's just like it is what it is. And then sometimes you could just say it and it'll be, depending on what level you sitting and standing at in your heart, depending on how strong and how deep it goes for you, how big you're able to move in the space that you've cultivated, how large you're able to be in the space that you've cultivated. We're in a rate where we get to actually start testing our power by being in our power, by reclaiming our power, and by honoring ourselves and maintaining what it is that we've been given. We all got a key, y'all. You get the opportunity in your practice discernment to actually sit with yourself and say, "Oh, I got this key. What does this key do? How does this key be? Oh, I see there's roots with this key. It's starting to be a little stable, spirit. How do I actually move forward and make this something that doesn't just affect me, but it benefits everybody that I love?" A lot of times we just don't allow ourselves to see the good and the unique thing about us, which causes us to continue going through life, copy and pasting, being and doing as we see other people doing, and you don't have to do that. Why? Because you've been given something that's uniquely yours. It's untapped potential, and you get to be at a rate where you get to see the best and be the best in yourself by moving forward, doing the things that's going to nurture you, and that's going to actually create, I don't want to just say like a newness, but it'll create a good, yummy space for you. It'll create a good, yummy space. It's so much more than it just being new. It's really more so about it being something that's necessary. A lot of us have necessary moments that are meant to be held and meant to be had and experienced, but we keeping them. What am I talking about? You got artwork, you got artwork that this world needs to see. You have music that this world needs to hear. Everybody been tapped into certain type of frequencies, but you've created a frequency of your own that people need and they're desiring for, that is untapped because you even haven't even been in a space where you've allowed yourself to grow at this rate. You have things that you have inside of your file cabinet that you too afraid, to actually share and show up because it feels weird when you're seen. Spirit wants you to be seen so you could be accounted for. So be brave and be bold in this space. When you think about the six, think like I said, like the mother. Mother is not going to be timid or weak minded when she's protecting her cubs, when she's protecting something that she's nurturing, something that she birthed. It's going to be some strength. It's going to be some shoulders with that. It's going to be some illumination. I see all the shortfalls. I see all the pockets. I see where things aren't safe. I see this is a moment where I might need to rest. I see that this is a moment where I might need to, put some energy in here. I'm going to have to do this. I'm going to have to eat this way. I'm going to have to think this way. I'm going to have to carry myself this way. I'm going to not listen. I'm not consumed. Like there's instructions, instructions in a rate of your being. So I hope this is helpful to y'all. Like I said, I didn't want to be long, but there is so much that we are at the space where we get to like be at a different rate. Why? Because you get to have, but in your have, there's something that you had to do. Okay. You had to do it in order for you to grow, in order for you to be able to show up and be the light that you meant to be. It's something that you're meaning to do that's going to help you and nurture you in the ways that you're supposed to be going. And once you operate in a space where you could see it, because you sat with yourself, you went inside yourself. Like I said, today's a feminine energy. It's a feminine thing. It's an internal thing. On your outside world, you may have the desire to get up and go move about, but internally, what is your vessels telling you? What is your world, showing you? How are you communicating to you that you're operating in your feelings and in your emotions? What has to move through? I'm going to say this. The six comes with feelings and emotions. Here's why. Your intuition is going to tell you what is necessary. And in order for you to get to this new rate, there's going to be a breakdown of something that has been calcified in order for you to have flow and in order for you to make room for the new thing that's coming ahead. There's a purge that's happening, but it's an intentional purge. I knew that this wasn't going to work. This type of mindset doesn't really suit me anymore. I can't really look at things like this anymore. I've healed. I'm at the merchant of grace. I've actually seen mercy mercy. Mercy has been with me. I've actually created a space where I've created balance. And because I've created balance, I get to meet new energy with a new stance and a new mindset. These aren't the people who may have come towards me before. These aren't the circumstances that may have actually met me before. And because of that, I'm at this rate of being still while moving because I'm in my platform, in my flow. And I'm actually at a rate where I'm open to receive. My heart posture is open because it's protected, because I've done the necessary things that I needed to do to cover me. And we all get to have that. Okay. If y'all have any questions, I think it's very self-explanatory. Practice discernment, y'all, because your knowing is what needs to grow roots. You need to be able to sit within yourself and have some authority over you and your being and how you're wanting to do things, how you're wanting to be at the rate that you meant to be at, because there's so much for you, especially when you're the person who's creating it. So what do y'all want to make? What do y'all want to do? How do y'all want to be seen? What is it that's not in the world that you require to be there? And what are you doing to put it there? How are you going to show up at this good, yummy space with yourself where you just exploding and vomiting yourself all over your environment? So you get to see you. So you get to keep on meeting you, coming into contact with you until you look up and you're in a space where you're surrounded by like-minded energy. Till you look up and you're at a rate where you dreamed of the thing and you visualize it and now you get to see it. This is the space that we're in as long as we're awake to actually go through it. They trying to make us go back to sleep. Doesn't matter what these people do in this space, y'all. As much as they want to shut some shit down, it is awake and it's moving, it's flowing, it's growing, and it is. So be at a rate where you get to be at the space where you're honoring the truth and get what you want. Get yourself accounted for. Get yourself in the marking of. Get yourself in the position of, because you get to be seen at this rate. Okay. I love y'all. I think that y'all so fucking dope. I think it's so amazing that y'all continue to just keep not allowing things that you consider to be failures, anything but opportunities for you to gain a different glance of how things could be, because you've allowed yourself to look into the future and see the vision, because you're creating it and you're going to make it. Peace, y'all.